你好, welcome to Chinese Begin. In previous lesson, we have learned basic strokes and the rules of stroke orders in Chinese. In this lesson, you will learn the components of Chinese characters. In this lesson, you will learn what are components of Chinese characters, character components and non-character components, simple characters and compound characters. Okay, let's begin. First, let's look at what are components of Chinese characters. Component is called 部件 in Chinese. A lot of Chinese characters can be divided into different components. For example, the character 好, which means good. It can be divided into the left component 女, which means daughter or female, and the right component 子, which means son. And the character 影, which means shadow. It also can be divided into left part 景, which means sing, and the right part, the three same strokes 撇, downward left firstly. And we can continue to divide the left part 景. The character 景 can be divided into the upper part 日, which means sun, and the lower part 经, which means capital. And this character 回 means turn round or circuitous. We can divide it into the outer part and the inside part, both of which are the character 口, which means mouth. From these characters, we can say components are the most basic constructional units of Chinese characters. And one component is composed of one or more strokes. For example, the component 子 of the character 好 is composed of three strokes: 横钩 horizontal hook, 竖钩 vertical hook, and 横 horizontal. So, in the knot of characters, strokes are the basic constructional units of components. Components are the basic constructional units of characters. Then, let's look at character components and non-character components. According to whether the component itself is an independent character, there are two kinds of components: character component and non-character component. The ones that can be used as independent characters are called 成字部件, character component, which literally means complete character component. For example, in the character 河, which means river, its right part 可 is a character component because it can be used as an independent character. The character 可 means can. The ones that are not independent characters are called non-character components, 不成字部件, literally means incomplete character component. Non-character components are composed of one stroke or more strokes. For example, the outside frame of the character 病, disease, isn't an independent character. Now, let's look at simple characters and compound characters. There are also two types of Chinese characters, depending on whether the character can be divided into smaller components. They are simple characters and compound characters. The ones that cannot be divided into other characters, they are called simple characters or 独体字 in Chinese. For simple characters, strokes are their basic units directly. For example, in these characters, strokes are their basic units. They can't be divided into smaller characters. Chinese characters that can be divided into smaller components or characters are called compound characters, or 合体字 in Chinese. For example, these words can be divided into smaller components. In the end, let's have a review. In this lesson, we have learned what are components of Chinese characters. Components are basic units of Chinese characters. And we learned character components and non-character components. Character component means the component in a character itself is an independent character. Non-character component itself is not an independent character. It is composed of one stroke or more strokes. Simple characters and compound characters. For simple characters, their basic units are strokes. For compound characters, they can be divided into smaller components. Okay, that's all we have learned today. In next lesson, we will learn the formation of Chinese characters. 再见, see you next time.